Hello everybody, it's the Love Aunt here. Today I'm going to be looking at anxious attachment style and at the massive role that anxiety plays in attraction. And I'll also be sharing with you a technique that you can use to manage and soothe your anxiety. All of this has been life-changing for me, and I hope with the information that I share today, it will be just as helpful. So make sure that you stay on to the end, and you can let me know what you think by leaving me a comment below. Every single time that I went through a breakup, I experienced a sensation like I wanted to die. And I get myself through the days with booze and cigarettes whilst being in a state of constant despair and anxiety, unable to eat, with an upset stomach, and the best time for me was sleeping. For many, many years, I went through this same process and I suffered greatly. And I thought this was just the way I was. But what I didn't realize was it wasn't me, it was my anxious attachment. Breakups, they're painful and they're devastating for everyone. But when you've got an anxious attachment, they're even more, because anxiety puts us in a fog where our brains distort the picture that we're viewing, and it blows everything out of proportion. The anxiety convinced me, like it convinces everyone, that I didn't have a reason to live if I didn't get back with my ex. And those thoughts and bodily sensations consumed me every moment until I was so exhausted that I had to sleep. But there was a game changer and life changer for me, and that was learning that anxiety and attraction have a very close connection. Anxiety increases our attraction and desire for someone. Let me repeat that. Anxiety increases our attraction and desire for someone. And the time when we're most anxious is in breakups. So really think about this now for your own breakup and ask yourself truthfully, do you really need that person that broke up with you, your ex? Or is it your anxiety in your separation which is making you think like you do? Anxiety plays big tricks on our brains, making us think that we desire a person more than what is actually true, making us think that we can't survive without that person in our lives, and making us oftentimes view that person through a tunnel lens where they become more than what they actually are. So in these moments of anxiety after a breakup, I want you to start asking yourself, is it truly that your ex is so incredible? Or is it that your anxiety is boosting your attraction and desire for them and blowing it out of proportion? If your anxiety wasn't there, then how would your ex look? You may still love that person and desire them, but you'd also have a balanced view, and you'd know that it's all going to be okay. If it's not your ex, then it will be another person that's even more suited to you and that chooses you. So is it that your ex is really that amazing, or is it your anxiety that's telling you that they are and that you can't live without them? Attachment starts as infants. We need attachment to our mothers or caregivers in order to survive. But if there's been an early trauma or something's happened where we've developed an anxious attachment, then this follows us into adulthood and all of our relationships. As an infant, we will die if we don't stay attached and connected. So when this anxiety is activated in our adulthood, our body and our nervous system goes into that primal mode of survival where we feel like we will die if we don't stay connected to our ex. When you really start to understand this process, then you can start to separate what is you and what is truth from what is your anxiety. When we're able to qualify, okay, this anxiety is coming from my early development and has been triggered by my ex leaving, but my ex leaving isn't the root cause, then we can move to the next step, which is learning how to manage our anxiety by soothing ourselves. Before I speak more about this and give you a technique for managing your anxiety, I want to restate that anxiety increases our attraction. The more anxious and worried we are about someone, the more we desire them. It's literally a switch in the brain, and it's the anxiety that can play tricks on us. With this in mind, what do you think happens to your ex when they don't hear from you and when they think that they've lost you? Anxiety can affect everyone, so remember this. I'm not saying that you should aim to go around making people feel anxious, but a little bit of anxiety and worry on a person that's holding all of the power and control never did anyone any harm. It can actually bring a person back down to earth and give them a little bit of a wake-up call. When we speak about attraction, we're actually talking a lot about anxiety. And this is something to really keep in mind if you have an anxious attachment. When you don't text a woman back immediately every time because you're busy, then in that period of waiting for your message to come, she will start to feel a little bit of anxiety. And it's that anxiety which starts to increase the desire and the attraction. Likewise, if you're in the dating phases and your options are open and there are other women interested in you, then a woman will naturally feel her anxiety once again of losing you, which increases her attraction and desire. When there's no anxiety in dating, then the attraction levels can drop because that's not how desire works. So understand what a big part anxiety does play in attraction. And I speak more about this in some other videos that I made on how to regain your power in a breakup and how to attract your ex back. And I'll link you to those below and at the very end. But think about currently how your anxiety is increasing your own desire for your ex, and let's focus on managing that right now. In these incredibly distressing moments of separation when your anxiety is sky high, you've got to learn to soothe yourself, just as if you are your own loving mother or father. Anxious attachment is developed in childhood. So the part of yourself that's crying out for love and tenderness is the wounded child within you. And our romantic connections churn all of this up because it's going back to attachments. So I'm going to give you a technique. And from now on, I want you to play the role of caregiver to yourself. And when your anxiety attacks and you're afraid and in distress, then do this. First of all, take a couple of deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. When you breathe out, let your body release and let go. And if you feel like you need to repeat this another couple of times, then do. So next, I want you to place one of your hands or both of your hands on your heart. And I want you to repeat, everything is okay. I'm all right. Everything is going to be fine. Everything is okay. I'm all right. Everything is going to be fine. You can soothe yourself with this technique as many times as you need, every day or night, whenever you feel your anxiety take hold of you. And keep reminding yourself, you're going to be okay. It's all going to be fine. Don't worry. It's okay. The brain will believe whatever we tell it. So although this technique may seem simple, often it's the most simple ones that work. It doesn't need to be complicated, and it makes sense that we need to counter the thoughts that are currently present in our minds. So when we're anxious over an ex, we will likely be thinking distressing thoughts that's telling us that it's not fine, that we're not okay, that there's a massive threat to our lives and to our well-being. That's what the anxiety is feeding on, that idea that we think that it's not going to be okay. So as your own caregiver, you need to reassure the part of you that's anxious and afraid that it's all going to be okay, because it really is. And it's only you and your heightened anxiety that's making you think that you're not going to be okay without your ex. Just know that you will be okay because you're an adult now and you're not an infant, and you don't need another person in order to survive. So remember the huge part that anxiety is playing during your breakup. And if you'd like to get my help with your own situation and with your own anxiety, then I offer one-to-one email coaching, and you can find details below. If you've liked today's video, then please do give me a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. Also remember the role that anxiety plays in attraction and desire and how this can be used to get an ex back. Check out these next videos to learn more about it. Thank you so much for listening. Take care, and I'll see you again next time.